So I just want to summarize how to do the parapet wall again. I've done this demo in class, but just to be a little more concise, I'm using some objects that are already built here. The ones that I've built are pretty straightforward. We've already looked at how to customize walls, and that's what this represents here. So just to zoom out a bit and show you what part I'm dealing with here. So this is just the building section, and up here at the parapet, this happens to be on the west side. I've got a curtain wall. And then you can see the structure here, and I've got the decking, which we've already reviewed, and then there's the tapered insulation on top of that. And what I've constructed all nice and flush with the faces of the glass reinforced gypsum on the roof and the tapered insulation is a 3-layer steel stud parapet wall. And if I click on Edit Type, you'll see, as I edit the structure here and go to a section view, that I've got just those 2 layers of glass reinforced gypsum on the outside and the inside, and then in the middle I've got a metal stud layer that's 152 millimeters. So that was already built, as I said, and I just made sure that I had it aligned to basically just the exterior of the column here. That's my alignment point on the left, and then on the right I've just got it lined up to where the tapered insulation ends. So those are things that we've already reviewed. Just to kind of show you the crucial point on this parapet wall, all I'm going to do is just basically create the cap. The wall's already done. I set it to a height to match the curtain wall, and that height was determined by this line here, which if I zoom out you can see is the top of parapet. And I've got this set to a detail scale of 1 to 20 here, so that's why as you see me generate some text and some dimensions here, that they'll be fairly small. When it comes time to print, I'll set that back to something more appropriate for a building section, like 1 to 200 or 1 to 100. So what I'm going to do here is just create with my annotate tools here on the annotate tab. I'm just going to create a detail line just to show you where I want to create this parapet cap, and it just basically has to occupy that much space. And then I will line it up on this side with the inside of the parapet wall. And I don't need to, of course, I don't want it to come up all the way up to the top. What I want to have happen here is to have a smaller, shallower end on the parapet cap, so that I've got slope, a slope that would bring the water towards the inside of the building. So I'll change 150 in this case to 75, and then I'm going to just drag the end here so that I've got it up to 150. There we go. And then I'm just going to drag this end back up there. So that just gives me some 2-dimensional lines to indicate what I want to see here eventually. I need these numbers here. I need the reference, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a custom profile as a separate family file, and then bring that back in as a profile that I can use as a sweep on top of this parapet wall. So I'm just going to take some quick, make some quick dimensions here, so I can keep track of, for 1, I'll use the linear dimension here. Okay, so I want to know how wide to make this profile, and as you can see there from before, I'm just using 150 here for the height on the tall side, and then half of that on the inside, 75. So I'm just going to create a rectangle that basically has a dimension of 402 by 150, and then I'll knock down the smaller end to 75. So I will go to Application Menu, the purple R, and click on New and Family, and then just like we did with the decking, I'm going to track down Metric Profile and click Open. And now I'm just going to use my Create tab here, Line Tools, and then I'm just going to drag across. I'm going to watch these temporary dimensions at the bottom and just center this. I want it to be 402, so I'm just going to look for 200. Basically, that's close enough. I'll drag this across and type in 402, and then I'm going to drag up 75. And then on the other side, I'm going to use my line tool again and drag up 150, and then I'll just connect them there. So that's all I need to do there, is just to create that profile. I'm going to save this, and I can do that either in my library or just in a, I'll put it in my library here. So on the C drive, I'll go to Program Data, Autodesk, and I'll look for Revit Architecture 2013. There we go. And I'll look in the libraries, and I'll put it in my Canada folder under the profiles, and I'm just going to leave it here just generically. This is going to be my Parapet Cap 360, and I'll save that. And now when that's done saving, I'm just going to click on Load Project. It'll take me into the only project that I have open, the only project file that I have open, which is the RBT file. If you get the checklist that gives you a list of RBT files, just make sure you click the right one. It'll load it into there. At first it's not going to look like anything has changed or anything's different, but what I'll do here is just get rid of my dimensions and my temporary set of reference lines. Okay, so I'm just left with that. And then what I'm going to do is go to the wall here, and again click Edit Type, and I'll edit the structure, and just make sure that you're in a section view here, otherwise you won't be able to access this button here, which is the sweeps. So I'll click on sweeps. Now initially you're going to see nothing in there. There won't be any opportunity to add any information. So click Add, and then it just gives you a row here. And in the first column where it says Profile and Default, just change Default to the profile that you just loaded in. And it'll be that one there. And then just kind of pull over to the right here, and what you'll want to do is you'll want to specify a distance from the base, and this would represent the height that we want to use back in the actual project. So I'm going to set it at 700 millimeters from the base, and I'll click Apply, and it's going to show me where that's going to land here. Next thing I want to do is just I'm going to apply a flip, and I want to apply an offset as well. This is a little bit of guesswork here, and I'm going to need to have a closer view. And of course I want to have this flipped around and aligned to the inside here. So I'll go back, now that I've got a closer view in section here, I'm going to click on Sweeps, and I'm going to set the offset value to, there we go, that's what I was looking for. So now I'm going to play with the offset value and get that so that it's aligned properly. There we go. I have to go the other direction, so I'll try negative 150. There we go. Try a little more, negative 200. And that's looking pretty close. I'm going to just try negative 201. And that looks about right. Now, the next thing I'm going to have to do, I didn't track this before I started, so I'm a little shy on the height here. So I'm just going to go to the Annotate tab and create a linear dimension. And I want this to start from the base of this wall and then go to the top. It gives me 797. So that's the height that I should have set as the height of the profile from the base. So I'll remember 797, and then I'm going to click on this wall again and go to Edit Type, and then edit the structure again and access the sweeps. And now this distance should be 797. Click Apply, and then back here in my window I should see it all line up. Okay. So if I wanted to get fussy about this, I could perhaps add 1 more millimeter to that offset. So I'm going to click on that wall, click on Edit Type, and just go through these steps again, sweeps, and I'm going to set this offset to negative 202. There we go. That's all lined up now. So there is your parapet wall with a custom Parapet Cap